Hey guys, how's it going? Today I'm going to show you from beginning to finish how to put a single piece of tongue and groove paneling on. Now, if you're a craftsman, tradesman, then you probably, it's like, why bother, dude? It's so easy. But there are a number of steps that need to be followed in order for it to be done properly. It is quite time consuming. I mean, yesterday you saw, was it yesterday or the day before, you saw where I just had the partition wall up with the new one. Now, today I put up the insulation, and then I started putting up the paneling. And I'm only about halfway done the paneling. And for that section is like 23 inches by 51.5. So today I started at 10:30 and now it's 3:30. So it's quite a process. It takes a long time to do everything right. And because I'm not an expert and I don't have the greatest tools, and I'm just using milk crates in a parking lot to do my thing, maybe it takes me a little longer. Anyway, let's see how it's done. Okay, well, this is what I have so far, and this is how it's done. Of course, we got this 2 inches of, this is 1 inch by 2 inches deep, 2 pieces of polyiso, so it's R12 altogether, R6 each. So let's see if I can measure this with one hand. So the first thing we have to do is measure from this little ledge right here to 5 inches, because that is the width of the, actually right here, of the tongue and groove panel. We need to know that. So that's the mark right there, 5 inches. And then we measure the bottom. Pardon the camera movement. As you can see, it's 22 1/4 at the bottom, and it's going to taper in at the top. Hard to do this with one hand. See, this is why I don't do a lot of build videos, because actually building it and showing you, because it's really hard to do and make any progress. So there you can see it's 22 inches at the top. So in other words, it's 22 1/4 to 22. So we have to taper it upwards. So now we need that measuring tape. Working in the Home Depot parking lot, as you can see. La la la. Where is it? Is it there? There it is. And this is my last piece. Paneling. Oh, before I do anything, because every time you cut the old piece, it's tapered, you have to use a speed square and get yourself a straight piece to start with. Make sure the left side is straight, otherwise you're gonna have problems. Okay, now we got the this angle is going to be cut off, and it's going to be a straight piece. Okay, that piece is cut off now, or it's on this side, nice and straight. It's really important to put the mark on the long side, 22 1/4, on the bottom, because what you're going to do is you're going to flip it over, and the bottom is going to be down here, and the top is going to be up there. So let's make the mark for 22 and start cutting. This is 22, that's 22 1/4. Now we can cut. Okay, the piece is cut off. Now this is a reason why you always want to do your cutting on the side that's the back and not the side that's showing, because you're going to have probable pen mark and you're going to have a little bit of ripping. I mean, if you have really good tools or a sharp saw, maybe you're okay, but With the circular saw, you get what you get and you don't get upset. And see how nice this edge is? That's going to be the edge that's showing. So let's do the next step. Quiet, Sky Train, you're being loud. Okay, so the next step is to dry fit it, make sure it's snug as a bug, lines up well over there, and it's pretty good over here too. I can run my thumb on it and there's no big huge edge that's sticking out. So now we drill some pilot holes because you don't want the wood to split. So when you're drilling pilot holes, what I do is I use this little, I don't know if they call it a jig or marker or whatever, but this is how I make sure that all my screws are in roughly the same place. You can see that they're all, unless like there's one down here that was, there's something underneath that I couldn't put the screw in the right place, but there's nothing under here that prevents me to put the screw where I want it to go. So it's gonna go right there on that side and right there on that side. Now there's like a 1/4 inch between this hole and the edge. You want to make sure it's not too close, otherwise your screw is not going to be happy in its placement. Oops. So I want the top edge of the cardboard to line up with the taper of the top piece, and I just make a little tiny dent. It's right there. It's hard to see, but that's okay. I know it's there. And then I do the same for the other side. I have my arrow show me where I'm doing, what direction I'm going. And I do the same thing. There you go. You can see that one easier. Now I start drilling holes. Okay, pilot holes are drilled. Wood's in place. I drilled into this plywood to get another pilot hole. And now another thing I'll show you is to make sure your drill bit is long enough, because if you go too deep in here, what happens, and I know this from experience, is this plastic piece here will rub on the 2x4 and it'll leave a black mark. So you want to make sure the drill bit is sticking far out enough that you're not going to touch this, otherwise it gets a bit ugly. Nobody's actually ever taught me this. I just kind of learned by trial and error, or mostly common sense as well, but if I'm doing it wrong, I guess I'm doing it wrong. Okay, now for the final screw. You don't want to like reef on this thing, you just want to do it slowly, otherwise you'll make your wood all mucked up. So there you go, guys. One piece of paneling in from start to finish. And you came along on the journey. Wasn't that exciting? Thanks for watching, guys. Take care. Have a good night.